Okay, cool. Welcome everyone here on location at the IMAL. IMAL, thank you so much for hosting us today. This is a great pleasure for us for our dissemination event here of the digital intersections. Welcome also to those who are here online. This is great. You could not make it to Brussels. That's good because there are some summits and it's complicated to come here, so you had the best choice. Nice to have you with us. I know that 2 hours online is quite something, but stay tuned because we have really quite a few steps to share with you, and I promise you we'll make our best to make it really entertaining and educative. So, digital art as a business, but how? And let me just tell you a little something I had as we were doing the research in Canada, and I know we have a special guest from Canada here, Myriam from Centre-Phi. I was in Canada and I was visiting a couple of creative digital arts organizations, and I remember knocking at the door of the gallery next to Ubisoft, and I said yeah, we do an investigation for business models in the digital art sector. May I interview you? And she looks at me and said did you say business? And it was the beginning of our survey, and I understood that this would be quite a challenge. So what we're going to tell you today is share these key insights after we have been finishing the survey, the interviews, the research, the market study, and etc., together with our partners of the digital intersection. And the goal of this is really to check what are the existing ecosystem, how can we make this more sustainable with new business models. So digital intersection, let me tell you who are our partners. We are, it is actually a couple of organizations which are digital art organizations, and we are the black sheep who are not. So we are the business people. Sorry for that. So we have Chroniques in France, represented here today by Ilaria and Gladys. Where are you, Gladys? Oh, and Céline. Sorry, Céline. And Gladys, sorry, I have to, you are all dispatched. We have Chromatic from Canada and Massive Art, actually. We have KIKK of Belgium here with Gilles and Delphine, and maybe another people. No? Yes, and Dominic, of course. Yes, thank you. We have a Kontejner in Croatia. They're not here today, but maybe they are online. We have Signal from Prague, Czech Republic, and the Catalyst. We are a little agency between technology and creative content, and we work more on the business side. So the aim of the project was to explore how to diversify the sources of income in a very sustainable way, economically, socially, but also ecologically. So we have been investigating this, and we want to share with you in different parts, like where we are at, what can be done, what have we learned. And we have organized the event in a couple of parts. So the first one will be the results of the extensive research we have been doing from 22 up to the first part of 23 on financing and business models for digital arts organization. So we're going to share what the result of the publication is. I think we have one exemplar of the publication somewhere, but it is one because we didn't print, obviously, we want to be sustainable. So there is one prototype with recycled plastic to make it together, and no one has it except Ilaria. So that will be this, and we'll share the insights and the recommendations from 25 countries worldwide. How to shape new business models, how they shape new business models. We're going to see also how KIKK shapes new business models. That will be the second part. I will interview Gilles from KIKK, and we will explore what did they do in the last years, what has been evolving. So it's, of course, very interesting because we are here in Belgium. And in the last part, we are going to have actually, no, first of all, I'm going to also present the results of the business models as such, and what leads you and us together to explore collaborative way or new ways to organize us together as partners, but also in reflection with you all. So we're going to talk about the next steps, launching something new. But I'm not going to say so much about it for now, because I want to give to Anna, and Anna is my dear colleague at the Catalyst. You have been 6 years here next week, I've been counting, and it's a pleasure every day to work with you, Anna. Anna draws from her experience in the creative and arts sector to enable research and business development at the agency. And she curates also together with us events in the media sector, but she has been really on top of the survey, so I think it is totally legit that you are presenting this. Anna, please, the stage is yours. Thank you.
Wow. Hi everyone. Can you hear me well?
Yes.
Yes, good. Also in the previous life, I was working for digital art organizations. I used to run a festival, and I'm a sociologist by trade. And today, I'm going to be presenting to you the research that we did together with the partners. So I'm going to go right directly to the QR code that I'm going to keep on the slide on the screen for a few slides. We have also one printed exemplar, one printed print here. The report is called The Business of Digital Art, Economic Models and Insights into the Future. And it brings you the insights and that we gathered during a research that lasted for 10 months between 2002 and 2023, and really wanted to identify the challenges and the financial challenges that organizations are having and look for new business models. So as AC mentioned, we ended up with 24 countries from 4 continents. Some of them are not listed there because they wanted to remain anonymous. So whatever I'm going to be telling you today about the organization, it really does come from you. It does come from the industry. There's a part when we reflect on this, but I would like to make a big, big shout out to everyone who contributed super generously with their thoughts, with their time, with their insight, with their know-how. This is only some of them. So thank you for contributing to this, but also thank you for contributing to this and being here with us. And also I want to say hi to the online audiences, mentioning that we'll have Q&As after my presentation. So if you have any questions, hold on to your questions. If you have any questions, hold on to your question. We'll have time to address these. So let's dig into the presentation. First, I will tell you a bit more about the methodology of the research. I will tell you more about who the organizations were. We'll talk about money, we'll talk about ecosystems, and then the reflection part, the potentials. So the research. The info I have for you comes from a survey we did, from in-depth experts interview that we led, from secondary desk research, which basically means we read a lot. And we also did workshops, coaching, events to really source the information. The survey itself was 50 questions about the organization activities, some questions geared towards more systemical analysis. And we sent it to 500 organizations around the world and gathered 60 responses. Who were these responses from? So this is a very important note before we dig into the contents, to say that we were working with organizations. So not individuals, but people who are working in groups in the digital art industries. Most of the time they were either festivals or culture centers or artist networks or curators collectives, working in non-profit, private and public, focusing mainly on art production, exhibitions, event organization, and educational activities. And maybe I will take this opportunity to ask you, who of you feels like you are working in this field? If you feel, is any of you working in this field of events? No. Okay, good. So you will get the insights of colleagues. I'm sure AC will be asking you who you are then for the interactive part. But for now, so you will be gathering insights from this angle. These were people who were working for national, international, and local audiences. And these audiences were mainly public at large, on the one hand, with families, youth, kids. Or on the other hand, there were really institutions, like companies, institutions, art professionals. So, I'm sure you're all interested about the money. So let's follow the money. So what were the budgets of the organizations? you can see that we ask them, okay, so what is your yearly budget in euro? And people very openly contributed to this, giving us the numbers. And as you can see, it really spans from up to 100,000 to more than 4 million, over 4 million euro. And the midpoint was 400,000, 25% were in the range of between 1 and 10 million euro per year. But the big budgets, the above 4 million budgets, were very, very rare. Where does this money come from? About 1/3 sells tickets, less than a half receive fees for activities, but 55.9 people said we don't sell or market anything. Of course, this doesn't sum up because some people do sell or market, receive fees, so it's also about the perception of the thing. But the main thought is that more than half of the people would say we don't market, we don't sell what we are doing. So indeed, for 1/4 of the organization's public funding was constituting 75% or even more of their financial resources, and less than 25% revenue was coming from business to consumer activities. So we are wondering what's the mindset behind this feeling of relying on public money, behind this feeling of we're not selling anything. And we had like a lot of questions that you can find in the report that really go in depth with each of these things. So I'm just mapping this, but we're not going to be digging into this. So I'm going to make the FOMO moment and go away from the slide. And we're going to have three things that we'll be focusing on. So first of all, you can agree that monetizing is always a problem. At the same time, a comparable amount of people would say that they are good at finding ways to financially sustain themselves. But what's interesting is that this big purple grayish thing is we depend on public money and grants. And this is something that people really acknowledge, regardless whether they feel like they got good at finding money or not good at finding money. Well, this money is mainly public grants. So we dug a bit deeper, and here's a quote that we have Christina Leipold from LIS Art Foundation in Berlin, which is a non-profit foundation, and she said the following: "Tickets are not being calculated in a way that they compensate for the costs we have. We don't want to sell tickets at 35 euro a piece because we want to be accessible." And I think this raises a lot of questions that we also saw across the survey about the value. What is we will be talking about business, we will be talking about values, we will be talking about what we're bringing. And there were some voices saying, we serve the public, and we have a public mission. And the fact that these are the same words, public audience, public mission, and public money, it really comes from the fact that this is the ecosystem we're in. We're like roads, we're like, any other thing we have in Europe that we don't need to pay for, basically. And there was a thought about having to develop a new system of measurement that would allow to access, I didn't move, it's just energies. Well, as technology says, there's a need to develop a new system of organizations. What happened? Okay, thank you. Yeah, okay, let's see if I trip over the... it's all about innovation. Okay, so we were talking about the need, so when technology broke, we were talking about the need of new systems of measurements to assess the impact of organizations. And we'll be digging back to this, but for now, let's have a deeper look at the ecosystem. I imagine maybe you are not identifying with the organizations you saw on one of the first slides, but still you are sitting here because you are somewhat part of this ecosystem. So as we were gathering information, we mapped them into some sort of like a SWOT analysis about the ecosystem, where we map the strengths, the opportunities, the weaknesses, and the threats. So, from what we gathered, you have great strengths. You have great human capital. You love your job. You work with great people. You do audience-oriented work. You have a mission. You do something for the people. And you are multidisciplinary hubs working with people with very different competencies and very different backgrounds. You also have great opportunities. Experience-based environments are becoming more and more popular. People want to experience things with technology. Hybridity. We are out of a pandemic. We all learned what Zoom is. Digital shift and growing market. There's a potential out there. Connecting with new audiences. What you do is something that really transcends and really can reach new people. And you do come from a collaborative ecosystem, which is not always the case, especially in the art world. But at the same time, what we found out, you do have certain weaknesses. Have you ever been on a project that is by time managed and is understaffed? Have you ever been on a project that is not planned the right way and you think it doesn't have the potential to grow? Maybe you have been feeling that you have other opportunities, monetization opportunities that you could embrace, but you're not making the full potential of what you have with what you have. Or maybe you feel like, hey, this is something that audiences around the world could hear more. How do I reach to them? I'm not achieving this potential. And then there are threats. Financial instability. Public money comes and goes. Global threats. We are all living on the same planet. There's climate change, there are pandemics, there's war. You can take a picture. I'll pause. And we have also this, and these challenges are shared globally. Like the difficulties of navigating the global market system is something that we can find everywhere. The lack of information on how to access these opportunities within the art world, let alone outside of the art world, is also something that is broadly shared. Bureaucracy and this need to find sustainability and stability is something that is underlying a lot of the things that have been said. The research that we did, this was not only made in Europe. We did interviews with people who are somewhat in Europe. I mean, they are in Europe. I'm thinking of the UK. Okay, I'm not going to be. So we did. We had the UK. We had South Korea. We had Mexico. We had Japan. So on this slide, I actually wanted to have a map for you. I asked the interface that is based on stable diffusion to generate a monochromatic purple map of the world, highlighting in black the following countries that we interviewed: UK, Senegal, Mexico, Japan, and South Korea. And this is what I got. The map that was that I got from the AI system for you. And I'm showing this to you for two reasons. First of all, among the global shared challenges, one of the things that we need to add is AI. This map has been generated by AI, and AI is changing the way we view the world, and the way we view the world. And I don't mean only because it's making crooked maps that you cannot really read, but also because, you know, it's changing the way we create. It's a revolution that we're part of, and this cannot be omitted when we're thinking of the challenges that we are all sharing. But at the same time, I'm showing you my story of a crooked map, because depending on where you're sitting, the map looks totally different. And there are huge worldwide differences. We were talking about this abundance of public money that you can use, but the availability of funding is totally different across the planet. The training structures and access is totally different. The collector's presence is different. There's different contexts and power structures. And we say we're all affected by global factors in different ways. But a war affects all global heating. They affect people in different parts of the world more than maybe some others. But also, when we look at these two maps that don't overlap, there's also different narratives and unique creativity around the world. And this is a huge potential also when talking about AI and about the future of AI. Because this is what makes art art. It's not repetitive. It's a new concept. And this is a great strength that we have. So if you want to find out more about these territories that I was mentioning before, please dig into the interviews. We have interviews which are case studies in the report when you can read more about the situation in these different countries. So I totally recommend to you to do that. Okay, having heard all of this, what are the potentials that we all can use and make the most of? So first of all, we need to start talking about money. AC was telling the story of how they went to this gallery and they said business model and people would just go and cringe. We are here for the arts, not for the money, or we are here for the money, but we don't want to talk about the business. So indeed, for many organizations in the digital art industry, the very notion of a business model stands against the mission of the institutions. Art is seen as something different, a cultural good, neither a product nor a service, meaning that it is not necessarily compatible with business. But this means also there is an opportunity. There's an opportunity in redefining the words business model for the creative sector, and maybe we should be calling it valuation model, or maybe we should be calling it sustainability model. These are options to consider, but for sure, second potential, sustainability can't wait. And by sustainability, we mean both economic sustainability that we're generally discussing, talking about business model, ecological sustainability that we will be talking a bit more also in the, in general about sustainability, we will be talking more in the last part of the event today during the panel, but also social sustainability. Because something we've heard a lot was, how can you be overworked when you are working in the arts? And this is when the cringing face makes sense. What cringe? Okay, so next potential, experience-based economy. So we were talking to Dirk Bol. He's the deputy chairman of the big auction house Christie's, and he was saying, okay, the next generation will not be living in one place. They will be moving from place A to place B. People are moving from Vancouver to Tokyo to America, and the art market is going towards an experience-based market where people don't want to travel with Manet, Picasso, whatever artwork, but they just want to travel with this. And this is what they want their artwork to be. Of course, this comes from a super privileged perspective because there's a ton of people who move from place A to place B because they don't have a choice, because place A doesn't exist. And there's a ton of people who do not have the means to be moving from place A to place B. But we're talking Christie's. But also, there's a potential of inclusivity in the fact that, hey, it's something which is shareable. It's something which is personal, and there's also potential in this. Next potential, hybridity. So I guess we all maybe thinking that digital is the future of work, economics, and a social capital. And I also imagine there might be some consensus about this inner human desire for communal experiences and intimacy. And we are somewhere torn between these two potentials. And the thing is that paradoxically, the digital art sector needs to embrace the digital and needs to have a digital transition. Because many times what people are doing in the digital art sector, traditionally, this will be installations, this will be some artworks, but many of these things, this will be events. But many of these things are really grounded into this feeling of intimacy, of physicality, of playfulness that doesn't really come from this digital, that comes from digital being a tool for the physical. And of course, this is hybridity, but there's also a big question of how do you find an identity within the digital coming from the digital art sector. One question we may ask in this context is metaverse, yay or nay? So the voices have been divided. Michel Reyac, who's the curator of the Venice Biennale, said that there will be a breakthrough. Well, there will be reliable and controlled ways of ticketing, which will happen within a year. We've had this conversation about a year ago, so I think we're still looking at this transition. And at the same time, Luc Kemp from Barbican Immersive said that how it lands is really a difficult question for us at the moment, because there are some considerations. How to make sure that something that is metaverse is not exclusionary? How to match it with the values they have? Is there a clear way to monetize it? There's no self-standing business model per se. So one thing I want to add to the potentials, wrapping up with on the metaverse, is to cooperate. Because we had this question about the trends or the things that people are keen on investing in. So going back to metaverses, people were not keen, like the white thing, not sure if it's very visible, is the question was, are you keen on investing in metaverses? So metaverses, no. NFTs, yes, somewhat, no. DAOs, no. Blockchain, no. R-stacks, no. New stakeholders constellations. Suddenly you see the purplish, bluish thing on the left going up. So join hands, cooperate. This would be the next potential that you can use, that you can really use. And we had this question about what's your position regarding competition, and we have this like chart pie thing, and you can see that the big orange part is more about cooperation rather than competition. This is the big chunk of our graph here. And this cooperation can be within the ecosystem, with co-production, with shared IPs, with shared infrastructures, with shared costs, with shared risks. Or they can be outside of the ecosystem, working with tech companies as our patrons, joining some academic research. This will be things that AC will be also telling you a bit more in the part that we have later on. But one of the final recommendations would be to take on the future. We don't know what it will be, but we need to go beyond the hype. We'll be talking about trends also today. Embrace the long-term cycles of change. Consider sustainability parameters of the artworks, of the artists, of the tools, of the tech infrastructure, travels, communication. It's a long list that we'll be also digging into today. And reach out to new audiences by building community, ensuring access and participation. And going back to what Michel was saying about VR and the metaverse, he said, I can see how in the next 10 years, the younger generations that are already starting to do so will claim physical reality as the true exciting field of both culture and social life. I don't know what will be the true and next exciting field, but I think in all this, we need to remain real. We need to have a realistic view of the world. We need to be close to the people you're working with. You need to really remain authentic. So if there's one thing I would recommend is to just really be present, be real, and see where it leads us. And I'm saying this because if you want to be real and authentic in this moment, please download the report. So it's here. There's a QR code. Yeah, if you feel like you want to follow through, here's the code. You can download this. And yeah, we're open to any Q&A, any questions you may have, or any things you want to contribute to. Thank you. We have time. That was quick.
We are known as a chief time officers. Unfortunately, sometimes it's not that everybody's liking this very much. But I would like to see, do we have any specific... do we have to... sorry. Do we have any specific questions about the survey, the results? Yes, please.
I think you need a mic for that, though. So maybe I... it's off. Hold on. It's on? I think I switched it. Yeah. Okay.
I hope it's going to work.
Yes, hello, Antoine Goldschmidt. I'm Brussels-based visual artist. I was wondering because I started looking at the study being real and the report, but I was a bit yeah. You mentioned that you only had organizations and yeah, say public sector or museums, etc. But what I don't see in this study is the artists or those who are the creators. I mean, there are collectives, but we don't have a view on the profile. You know, let's say the percentage of the profiles that you interviewed. So it's of course very nice when you are an organization in the digital art. But what about those who make this digital art? Yeah,
Do you want to take this or should I take this? I mean, this was the yeah.
Research, because it was really like talking about the business of any kind of identity. And at the beginning of the report, you will see the definitions of who would be applicable, so to speak, as a digital art organization. And there are indeed also artist collectives, but we only took the collectives then.
But I think it's a super interesting question and
Absolutely.
important thing you're raising, because of course there's no ecosystem without the artists. This research was made by five festivals, organizations, trying to figure out what's the model for these organizations for the future. And we didn't really dig into that, but just to give you an idea, hold on, I'm just gonna go like fast track through the slides to here. Hold on, that was too far.
That was fast.
Too far. Okay, so I think maybe we could say it now, because I'm not sure it will resonate later, that also this research that you saw is part of like a bigger project. And we started by diagnosing where are we as digital art organizations to see what can be done and to go in the prototyping, testing phase where we're piloting new business models and what have we learned to have interoperable results. But this interoperability that we're aiming at really has to stay within the organizations, because otherwise there's no way to, there's no transferable learnings between what a digital art organization can do and what an artist can do. But this doesn't mean that we shouldn't be looking at this from your perspective, and maybe there should be another project that we do, another goal, another research, another continuation where we have the other elements of the ecosystem. But for now, we focused on organizations because that's where we're coming from.
Yeah, and also just to add, at the beginning of the study also, there is a categorization of what sort of arts or digital arts are considered. So it will be mentioning about, is it VR, is it music plus tech, is it whatever? And we have been also defining the categories of which kind of art is really like processed or done or sold or exhibited in the organizations. But we don't have an art perspective. We have more a business perspective. I'm not saying that artists cannot do business.
So do we somehow, because sustainability, if it's the organization, if it's not sustainable, let's say at the bottom, which is not pyramidal, but if the creation is not sustainable, then of course the organization can't be either. So
absolutely.
I was just curious when reading the starting of the report and what you mentioned, that of this choice, and was wondering.
To be very honest, it was not a personal choice or something. It is the consortium who decided to research on this. And it was very clear for us from the beginning that it would exclude freelance artists and individual artists from the survey. Yeah.
I think there will be also space to look into this when you do the business model presentation, because there's also like this interconnectedness of your organization, of who are the other actors in the ecosystem. Sort of, we'll be talking about the prototype you are making. So of course we keep in mind the other actors of the ecosystem, because this is what the business model is rooted,
of course.
is rooted in. But the opting for the research or for the survey was really to give the perspective of the organizations.
So you will
if
see
the organization make the artist sustainable, that's fine. If you want to endorse the role of like inputting money with other organization into the business art, and that's a good good news.
A big part of the sustainability that we are into is a social sustainability, and also part of the collective work we are doing to elaborate on the prototype is considering very closely which kind of artists, what are we looking for, how to be fair in terms of remuneration and etc. So this is considered, that's for sure. But it's also, in this study, it is like seen from the organization, which kind of values, which kinds of criterias are we elaborating to, for example, to set together a catalog or to represent which kind of artists, etc. This is considered, of course. Of course. So it has indirectly to do with the sustainability, but the focus of this study is not. I mean, to be honest, I don't.
Yeah, no, I think it's something that we considered, but we have 80 pages now. Maybe there's another 80 pages coming up. Who knows?
For another project. Exactly.
Do
Another
we
question
have,
here?
Yeah? Would you like to have the mic? Sorry, let's.
Yes, let's.
Hello, thank you. Oh, just catastrophic. Yeah, Virginie Civray from Start Invest here in Belgium. I was wondering in terms of subsidies and grants that you mentioned, and mainly for European countries, what is the balance between national grants, subsidies, and European ones, if you have this deeper study? Because I was wondering what is the measure of, if we can measure, in fact, the interest of different European countries, sorry.
Like, honestly, we have...
Maybe it's too...
Yeah. So, it's not here in the study per se, and we didn't cross-check this. We have a lot of raw material, so, I mean, we have 60 respondents from 25 countries responding to over 50 questions, with 10 different possible responses to this. So of course, but at the same time, we do not have the statistic. It's not like a statistical group. So it's really more of a quantitative thing with qualitative thing with quantitative data. But it's something that we could cross-check. We didn't have this optic. We didn't want to. This is not something that we were really wondering about. But we also, it's a question that we can respond to from the interviews we had when talking to the partners, because we also did a lot of echo.
Yeah, but a part of it is not public. It's not in the report.
That's also the thing.
Yeah.
It could be interesting for European politics. Policy, sorry, policy, and to see how is it interesting to go more in financing that kind of organization, because we are talking about emerging arts, so emerging. It's not don't take it. But so it could be interesting, I think.
It is, but then, I mean, the goal would be to see what is efficient, what is supporting what, and etc.
Yeah, we are talking about business models, economics, finance. So, if you measure, in fact, it's 75% for the big proportion of the
results
sample. Yeah.
But the thing is, that's exactly the thing. We did not focus on that. We focused on the rest.
Yeah.
To make it innovative, because the goal was not to let us explore public funding. You know, let's explore the rest. So we were not so granular on that one. Whereas the question we asked on but what else?
Yes,
was the focus of the study.
Yes.
Even if in percentage, you're totally right. In percentage, it is actually less.
Yeah.
Well, we have to also say that, I mean, even for the presentation, first of all, we have to acknowledge the fact that we skipped a ton of things when doing this report. Like, I mean, we had so much materials that, it just... second of all, we also have to admit that we skipped quite a lot to make this more livable for you this morning. But if you go into the report itself, there's a lot of things that sort of... And also in the analysis, we just put all the plain data. And if you want to reflect on how do these... sort of match together, you can do this on your own. So I would also recommend to just simply go into the report because there's more in this.
I will.
You have to go through this.
And there's more to this than we could share today or that we could even reflect on. But I'm sure that there's a multiplicity of facets that could actually maybe bring some.
But I like the question very much. So that's really it's really good. It's an angle we didn't approach necessarily as said for the reason I was mentioning. Any other question? I like when it's not only 2 but 3.
Oh,
Yes,
online.
yes, in the chat. Wonderful. Gladys, what do they want to know?
All right, so from Cadence and DJK, thank you, Hannah, for your presentation. I think, based on my experience, there is a greater difficulty for small projects under 100k euro budget, especially for artist-initiated projects, because missing operating budget. How to deal with that? How to secure operating budget?
Yeah.
I think that's
How to secure operating
how
budget.
to secure operating budget.
We have been having that a lot in the different interviews that we've got. Very often there is a lack of business background. So the budgeting as such is really a problem. And in some of the solutions that we have been finding, there was a big need also for coaching or for collaborating with people who have more business insights. So that was something which was very often mentioned. And actually, we're going to see this in the next part, which is going to start in 2 minutes. Together with Gilles, I'm going to show you a couple of the examples, like how organizations want to get out of some of the misery sometimes, I have to say, and the struggle to be able to pay everyone, the struggle to be able to be free on a weekend sometimes because you work all the time and everybody is overworked, to be able to, because you don't have enough money to secure the operation. And it's something we have seen everywhere.
But also, like, the main takeaway of this was, because did you say individual artists, or what was the?
I think it's about individuals.
Yeah, because I think one of the big takeaways, and this is also some from the project itself for everyone of us, is this notion of cooperating with other stakeholders and aggregating skills, and going into art stacks of people with different competencies who can aggregate the skills to build something together. So I think this concept we're
going to dig into this afterwards.
So
actually.
we will be digging into this afterwards. So cooperate with other people. That would be also one of the.
Yeah, together you're strong, so to speak. I mean, this is something which was really a big result. But we're going to dig into this result right now. What we want to do now in the next part is to have an interview with one of the partners, the KIKK festival, and to have a very, I would say, open and intimate conversation here to say, like, how do you do this? I mean, of course, KIKK is one of the biggest festivals in Europe, but still, the fact to see that also a big festival has to struggle is interesting. And we've been going also to Canada, and I remember also the interviews we had with Mutek. And it's even Mutek. You have a look at Mutek, you say like, whoa, Mutek, Barcelona, Japan, Mexico, whoa, they thrive. They thrive somehow, but they also have the same problem than everybody. Right? So it's the way you deal with it and the way you are creative with your funding, with how to get the sponsors and how to get new solutions that makes a difference at the end. But Mutek, of course, is a specific case because it is about licensing. And I'm going to evoke this in the next part.
So thank you.
Yes, thank you very much for the questions. Thank you also for those online being with us. We're going to continue now with
the fast tracking. I'm going to be the slide person today, so I'm going to stay here.
I'm going to move now because we're going to have a fireside chat. I'm going to give you this microphone, Gilles.
Almost there, getting there.
Yeah. Yes, so this is the second part of this presentation. Now we want to have this interview of Gilles. Gilles Basler is the CEO of KIKK, an international festival. I don't need to present it to you here, right? I mean, of digital creativity, which is really the very intersection of art, technology, innovation, and I would say also a social discourse, definitely. And the festival features conferences, workshops, exhibitions, indoors, outdoors, on the street, artistic performances, which are really on top of the latest trends, really in digital creativity, which is really like, I see like hordes of curators coming to KIKK to get the latest insights. So what we want to discuss together, Gilles, is to see like in this process, how is it for you in the last 2 years, so to speak, or a year and a half, where we've been exploring new ways, and I wanted to reflect with you what could help to face economic challenges. And I want to take this opportunity of this first question to answer the last question, so that the person who asked can get a couple of answers from this, because in the survey, the people who wanted to face economical challenge better and I would say emancipate themselves from public money is really like to see, okay, to be more adaptable and to search for long-term funding was really the wish. And I just want to mention a couple of answers that are really like great. As we are a festival that takes place only on certain days in a year, we are seeking for a model that would enable us to be a platform which is active all year long. So the idea to have activities not only on a couple of days, but all year long, and to nurture this event was very important in terms of financial sustainability and growth of activities, and also to have more artistic outputs and exposure. Another thing was also targeting the realities and the activities we are really good at, so that we can really like be monetized, and then we would hire staff to do so, to be able to monetize them. Another thing would to have your own place. This is something that we explore also within the consortium, to have your own place, and we're going to see this also in a minute. Also to get out of real estate speculation would be one of the solutions. Also business support. This is what I was mentioning before, coaching, but also have business development resources. So this is one of the things of this study, because at the end of the study we also want to have a tool, and we are working on that tool, where you can have a self-assessment giving you automatic answer. It won't be powered by AI, because we thought maybe let's give you the human insights we've got, but we are working on a tool which is really like giving you some first advice to move on with this. Another answer would be international peer networks. So peer network with collaboration, but also on the international level, because everything is getting more international. So that's a couple of ideas that were given by the respondents themselves. So now, Gilles, tell me, how is it at KIKK? What would you help to face economic challenges?
Hello.
Yes.
Hello, Issy. Hello, everyone. I have to say first that I loved Anna's shoes.
It's digital art.
Yeah, they are really, really amazing. For us, I think it will be two things that it's really important for us. It's stability. I think that's something which is really difficult for us because. And I suppose it's the same for every organization in our industry, is that we, I don't know if I can say that in English, we are all running like headless chicken. We are always running after money, you said it before.
Rat race, they say in English, I think. Like that.
Okay. I prefer in French.
Yeah, I know, I'm sorry. Like
it's more funny. Yeah. But it's true, we are half of our time is looking for money, looking for a new business model. We are talking about that today. But it's especially looking for public money, and the rest of the time is justify the money. So
when do you do arts?
I don't
like
know.
exhibiting arts.
I don't know. I don't know. That's what you told. You told before that we were working on the weekend. It's true, but we are all working a lot after this the grants, the public money, and justifying the money is really amazing. It's a nightmare. And it's a nightmare also for the people working in the public sector, because they are not responsible of that. They are just like following the way it's done. So I think we definitely need to change the way it's done, the way how the policies are done. We need long-term policies in the digital art sector, because when there is an election, you don't know
what's going to happen. Yeah.
What's going to happen after? It's true. It's like that. When the minister is changing, it's not the same way of making the choice, making the policies, etc. So I think it's really yeah.
But that's more the policies part you're talking about now. So I would like to go straight to the next question actually and see like what kind of new monetization methods you would be happy to experiment with and you are experimenting with. And before you answer, I want also to share the results of the survey for the audience. People were saying like, we cooperate with private companies also to get out of the public sector, to acquire new spaces, for example. It's not only the money, the new spaces, the patrons club, sponsorship, of course, everybody knows sponsorship, video on demand. It is one of the relicts of the pandemic, so this hybridization you were talking about, Anna. Co-producing, also to save costs and to be able to have more money for the rest. We had also renting physical tools, also like to rent the things as such that you have. Also, having a permanent art space is something which came back. I was mentioning this before. IP licensing and consulting. Consulting was also seen, the great know-how that you've got from the digital art, and I'm going to come back about this later on, is something which is which can be monetized. And I remember, I'm not going to name anyone or any organization, but I remember in an interview somebody saying like, people are calling us and say like, hey, you know so many people, you know great artists, and we need something for us in this sector. Can you recommend someone? And they recommend someone. And then another call, and then you remember the name of blah, 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 and then they search for the name, they work for free, and they give the consulting again. And I remember having the conversation to say like, why don't you sell the curation experience? Oh, we don't know. So again, this is a thing like how to evaluate this, and it is, of course, a very difficult question. But I remember that that interview to say like you could sell this, and we have been considering this also in the prototype reflection that we've got. So that was to share a couple of ideas that was from all the respondents. But I want to come back to you, Gilles Obiosi, and say like, so what are you experimenting with already for new monetization methods?
It's difficult to answer this question because we started the KIKK, I think in the worst way. It was totally free. And I was really proud of that. I was okay. It's public money. We need to do a free festival for everyone, and I was. To be honest, I was proud, and I was one of the most convinced people in the team for staying free. But it was really not a good idea. So and it took time for me to understand that, to understand that having a price which is fair, it's give value to the artist and to the festival, to the stuff we do. So we are always trying to find money. we have a place now. We do biggest exhibition at the pavilion. We have a media. We sell the content now. It's something which is new in the organization. We are trying a business club. We will start a business club in the next few months. But what is difficult for an organization like us is that people in my team they came for what we do. They came for the arts, for the kids, for the public audience, and they are not in my team for finding new business model, and I lose them because of I don't have a lot of long-term policies. I don't know how I will finance them next year, and this kind of profile, a business-oriented profile, I don't have it in my.
And do you miss it? Would you like to have one?
Yeah, I would like to
be able to pay someone.
Yeah, and not someone. I think more. I think it needs a real team. Yeah. And we had this idea a few years ago with Marie, my partner, to make another organization, another KIKK, which is not a non-profit organization. And I think it would be the best way to make money with what we do.
That's very interesting because we have in the consortium we have also a benchmark with our partners in Canada, Chromatic and Massive Art, which are definitely two identities, and they also started like this, so dissociated the business part and being now one of the best agency for digital art in the public sector and beyond, with real estate exhibitions and etc., which are amazing. Just a quick question before we dig more into the pavilion. The business club you are talking about, is this also something that you have been inspired by the Chroniques business club?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
It's great to see that there was like cross collaboration also in the project, and from the very beginning there is it's called the Business Art Club. Digital Art Club, sorry, so DAC. It's in Marseille and in the region of Marseille. And it is something that the partners have been really inspired by from the Marseille and the ex-partners. So that was really, really good to explore this. But of course, as it was already existing, we didn't dig into this in our own prototype thing. But so let's dig into the pavilion. Because I think, if I understood that right, it was all about reaching new audiences, to have a place and reach out to new audiences. So how was the business case modeling for that?
Yeah, what we saw with Marie when we were traveling a lot last years, it's we saw a lot of organization that had already a permanent place. We saw it in Canada, in France, and we were convinced that it would be important for the KIKK to have a permanent place, because making a festival like we are doing every year, it's not sustainable. To be honest with you, it costs a lot for 4 days, and it was really a question for us to why we are making this amazing festival, and what do we do the rest of the year? how we do money for the rest of the year? And so we had this idea to have a permanent place in our city, and it's the pavilion. It allows us also to work differently with, for example, with the schools, with the kids, with the teachers, and with our local audience also. Because the festival is really international, and it was important also for value, for the purpose of the KIKK.
No, yep, sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
No,
And at the beginning, we were thinking that it will help us to have more and more money, but it's not the case for the moment.
It costs more and more money.
Yeah. It costs us more
A lot of money, yeah.
a lot of money, because in Belgium, especially I think in Wallonia, we are good at building places.
Yes.
But we are not really good at financing them. And in supporting them to I think it's the goal of it. It must be the goal of the public sector and to the politics, to helping organization like us to find another business model, to find their own business model. But they need to support us at the beginning more than they are doing it like now. Sorry.
No, it's good. It's interesting because also one of our partners during the process has been opening a new place, and that's Kontejner. So it was also very interesting to see the transversality of like also sharing the experience, knowing that it's going to cost a lot of money, but of course there are also like the different national systems, the different ways to be funded, the different way also, the different level of pricing, the different level. So you cannot say like, oh, it works here or it doesn't work here, so it's going to work in our country, it's not going to work in our country. So we had this also experimentation, and it's great because as I was going to Zagreb to do all the workshops with our partners at Kontejner, they found their place on that very day. They were visiting it, so it was. I'm very curious to see it when I'm going there and see how it has been developing.
And sorry, you need to take in consideration also as you said, the place where is your location, because we were visiting places in Montreal, for example, but we are in Namur, and Namur is 100,000 people. So it's not like being near the Grand Place here in Brussels, and we don't have thousands and thousands of tourists coming daily in Namur. So we need to be creative. We do private events. We do business club. We rent the place to organization. But again, it's not why people are coming in my team for doing that.
Even if Namur is very well logistically placed, in Belgium, it's not far away from the Netherlands, it's not far away from Germany, it's not far away from France, so it's But anyway, this is not the question. We're going to skip the next question to go. I think we have a slide about the trends. Do we have this? Oh yeah. What are the trends that keep you excited? And we want to show you an answer, which was really great. They didn't say their names or who they were, but it is something that was like, are you following the trends? And I mean, Anna was mentioning a couple of results before, like, do you want to do whatever, DAOs, NFTs, metaverse? No, we're not following these trends. That's great. So, are you following trends?
Not at all.
Yeah.
No.
This
not at all.
No, I know. This is really like totally representative for a lot of things. So let's move on about the goal so that we can close this and open to the questions. Like, what is next? And I want to tell you again, share a couple of results that we have during the interviews and the survey. I want to pay myself,
Me too.
hire 5 people, have 5 projects done, and have 5 to go. So very low-key stuff, just as like, I just want to survive this and to live out of this, which is, I mean, it's not only about like thrive and make masses of money, but just like to be able to live from your art is one of the most common goal we could find. Keep being brave, grow sustainably, independence from public funds. It's a big issue, and as I was saying, they are debating and struggling to find something. Value content and artists, be able to create in-house without always going to service providers. It's also something, but then this is also the question, like, how do you pay them? Keep a real and strong artistic direction, which we found also very interesting, like the integrity that we have found with all the digital art organization was pretty impressive. because it is beyond all the administrative and economic problems. And this is something that which is really to greet. And one of the big goals also was expand our networks of clients beyond Europe, or establish additional offices. That's for the bigger ones, but trying also to go beyond the borders and to find international partners was something which was very often mentioned. So that's the kind of thing that we found. So what are the goals for KIKK now?
Paying myself too.
Okay, do you want me to read it? Pay myself?
And pay the team, of course.
Yes.
No, I think we need to. We would like to grow. It's really important for us, and I think it's not. At the beginning, it was a little bit like something that we didn't want to talk about. But I think it's we need to grow because we need more money. We need more money made by yourself, and for that we need a biggest audience. Because it allows us also to invite more artists, and I think that's the core of the KIKK. To work with more artists also, and to help them to travel, to help them to be shown internationally. So I think it's really this notion of audience, of public at large. It's really our main goal for the next 5 years. I would like to have 200,000 people at the festival.
How many do you have now?
25,000.
Oh,
so it's 10
that's
more.
a jump. Yeah. Okay. And are you envisioning actually to go beyond Belgium?
Yeah, I would like to.
You like the MUTEC then?
Yeah,
model,
I think it's MUTEC, the OFF also in Spain. There is a lot of Sonar.
So Sonar is a good example.
It's a good example. I think it would be a nice way of helping the KIKK to grow. I think.
Great.
Yeah, I would like to in Mexico.
Let's do that. Okay, so let's go to Mexico for 10 minutes. We have a 10 minutes break. Please, we're going to have an 11. We are 1 minute early. Yeah, do you have any questions? Sorry, yeah.
We have 1 minute questions.
We have can we stay 5 minutes longer at the end of the event? Yeah? Okay, so do we have any questions? I would like to take that. Anyone? No? Yes, one question there. And one question online. Please, go on. Well, hold on, we're going to give you a microphone. The microphone is there. Ilaria is going to bring it to you. Yes. Thank you.
Hello. Mathieu from Art Crush Gallery. I'm just fascinated by a festival that's in Namur and living now since I think 20 years.
15.
15, okay, fantastic. I'm just wondering how did you start? How did you get the public funding in the beginning during the first 1, 2, 3 years? Because then you have nothing, and yeah, how did you get the first public fundings?
Yep. Thank you, Mathieu. And it was a joke at the beginning. I was in a train with my partner Gaetan, and we were speaking about the fact that there was nothing in Belgium helping us because I'm also an entrepreneur, helping us to see new things, to listen to people which are doing amazing projects. And we decided to do the KIKK in a train around the beer, and we did it in 1 month. And it was really not the idea of having an organization like we have now. And we just went to the. It was called AWT. It's now Digital Wallonia. We just went to the door and we knocked and we were asking them, okay, we need a little bit of money to do an event in Wallonia because there is nothing in Belgium, and they give us a little bit of money, really a little bit, and we did this for the first time but it was only conferences and workshop. But I think it was well done. We had at the beginning like 500 people, but which were already the good people in the industry, and it started like that. And I think because I think we did always with the public money more than what the public give us. So that's our way of doing the job, I think.
Mm-hmm. We have the question online, Clarisse? Yes. So what is it?
Have you ever thought about exporting the KIKK festival in other European countries?
Yes, that was actually my last
Would
question.
you
Have you ever
repeat
thought-
the question?
Have you ever thought to export the concept of the KIKK to other in other European
Yeah,
countries?
we had the idea, we had contacts about that for doing a KIKK in Madrid, for example.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not sure it's a good idea to do it in Europe. I don't find the solution about that. I think if we are doing a KIKK abroad, will be in another continent. I think it would be more.
Which one?
Yeah,
Mexico, yeah, right, you said. Sorry,
North
yeah,
America,
Central America,
no,
yeah.
it can be but in another continent, because if we making a KIKK in Paris or in Madrid will kill the KIKK in Belgium, I think.
No, absolutely. Great. Okay, we're going to close it for now so that we have a... Okay, let's be...
I can change the slide. I can still alter it to what
12 minutes break.
Okay, so I'll make it 11:25 the slide.
11:25. Please be sharp on time. Thank you very much. Thank you, Gilles. Thank you very much. So I hope everybody online is also back. I know you're quite numerous. It's very nice. So we are very glad that you are attending. And so now we want to continue after the first part, the results of the research, then a real sharing of one of our partners in the consortium. That was also super interesting, the fireside chat with Gilles. Now we want to move on and go and dig into these business models, these new business models. But I want also maybe, before we start, what is a business model? Sorry, I'm not going to start from the last century, but actually they're called also like economic models. And I want to just mention a couple of things because it is very important for the way that new business models are now elaborated on. Because it's not only the money stuff, it is really the way that you are interacting with customers, with partners, with other stakeholders in the ecosystem to generate revenue, but also sustain its operation. That was the question we had before. But also, it is the way you do it is the way also you're going to share value. And the value for your, let's call them customers, right? We can say attendees, we can say participants, we can say whatever it is, but at some point it is somebody who is taking on the service or the exhibition, the value you are sharing. And it's really interesting because in the art, the notion of value is very specific. It's not seen, it is not a service, obviously. So it has to do with value proposition. What are you offering as a digital arts organization? It's about the key activities that you are having. It's about the target customers. I call them customers again. Of course, it is about your cost structure because you need to have these operating costs being covered, and it is a revenue streams. So we saw, and that's why we have this study, obviously, that we need to regenerate this business model. We need to update these business models. And this is how the project was initiated in summer 2022. So it's interesting that I note why it is important that I mention when we started. I remember started the study actually in July 2022. And it is very important because it is before actually AI was launched. So a big part of the study is not considering the huge wave and impact of ChatGPT. So you need to know that. And it is after the pandemics, somehow, right? And it was a very specific moment because it was unlocking new digital usage and a new way to see things. And people were talking about hybridization. And I mean, we notice now that we're all back. I mean, it's hybrid here today, yes, but everybody wants to be back on location. They want to meet people. They want to see the artists. They want to see the places, and etc. And also another thing which is important is that because also of the post-pandemics, there is also a specific need for new digital tools and new digital experiences at large. So I'm talking about, yes, we had AR, we had VR, but we have a very interesting development of XR, 3D, and what we call the metaverse. I know that a lot of people are allergic to this term. It's because of meta and metaverse and etc. But basically, it is an embodied 3D internet, and it's coming. So if you like it or not, it's going to come, and it's going to be a new way to experience the thing. And we can see this is impacting also the business model, and we're going to see this in a moment. So basically, digital trends, digital arts, digital revolutions are actually impacting the business model themselves. We have seen this before with a couple of, of technology development, which have, of course, e-commerce, it started with that. But what's really interesting to see these interconnected trends, for example, platformization. The fact that we have a lot of platforms and the creation of alternative financial literacy. This is how it led also to blockchain. And also with the imagination of blockchain, also a space where you can have a new kind of finance, a new kind of welfare where everybody is equal and having the thing. So it's nice. I mean, the reality might be very different, but I mean, it is coming, so this platformization. Also the idea of shared values, digitally speaking. That I'm thinking we had crowdfunding and etc. No, we have crowd investing. Example, Masterworks, right, which is enabling you to invest in blue chip paintings by artists like Picasso and the likes, just for a fraction of the cost. And when Masterworks is selling the thing, you have also your share. So this is also something which is interesting to see. Also, we talked a lot about the democratization of digital tools leading to user-generated content. Interesting is that we see that this tendency, which was supposed to become a value creator, so which could have an influence of business model because, hey, I'm doing stuff online, I can sell it, and etc., has some kind of limit because it also standardizes the artistic process. And now that we have AI, this is something which is highly questioned. I'm just coming back from a Series Mania where we had a full day on AI for the audiovisual sector. It's the same questions, right? I mean, it's the same. I mean, last month I had the press conference for AI for music by SACEM and GEMA. Same questions, right? Which impact will we have if the machines are producing stuff? And it can be music, it can be film, it can be series, it can be digital art. What quality will we have online if everybody is having tools doing whatever? And this is where also something that we have in the consortium also is like the value of the curation, of course, is very interesting. But I think that this trend is essential also and will have an impact on business models because it will probably dilute the value and we will need more and new indicators to see where is real value, where are the people actually ready to pay for something because there is a real value and of course it will have to do with quality. We have a lot of digital trends which are impacting the business model and we have been inquiring also into the key principles. So what is really the things like you can feel these trends really like pushing like to explore new business models and it is definitely new skills. And we wrote that before AI exploded. And all the conferences we are doing these days, all of them are saying, it's not the machine which is going to replace the artists and etc. It's the people who are dealing with AI who will replace the people who don't and who don't know how to. So these new skills are essential. It will be also new work processes, partly because of AI, but partly not. I mean, AI will shift a lot of workflows. Just to give you an example, film industry, because it's easy to understand. I mean, some new people are coming up in the field and will do new films. They never touched a camera before. And they don't need post-production because it's all there. It's one person, one coder, one gamer, whatever that is, a new entrant to the industry doing a film. We'll have to see if it's good storytellers or not, right? But it doesn't matter. So it will be shifted and it will impact the film industry, the series industries, the music industries, the digital art industries. So we will have new skills, new workflows, new working methods. We will have interdisciplinary teams. It has to do with the word digital art as such. Because digital has to do with tech and you need to be educated with tech. By the way, this is something that we found very often, that the digital art organizations are not necessarily good with tech. And we saw this also, if you remember, in like, hey, do you want to experience with NFT and metaverse and blah and DAOs and like, no, how does it work? Well, we don't know, right? So it's very interesting to see this. But anyway, interdisciplinary teams, multidisciplinary teams actually, and this will lead to new collaborative models. This is one of the big things that you can feel the force of this, it's like boiling underneath, right? I mean, I've been seeing so many people in the last 2 years, and it is boiling underneath, like to have new groups, new skills, new ways. You can feel it's coming, and we wanted to experiment that, of course, all together. So, valuation through a transaction is at the core of business models, and one thing I want to mention also, because it was after the pandemics, it is like the acceleration of this digitization that we had suddenly was really interesting because it was leading to an idea that digital is free. We are all in lockdown and we want to access something on the one hand, and on the other hand, it was also bringing us this shift to actually, yes, these poor artists, we need to pay something. So we were experimenting also with that, right? So, and we wanted it to be nice and we wanted to upload them and etc. But it leads us to the key question, and Gilles was evoking it before, so like, to charge or not to charge. That's at the core of the art thing, not only digital art thing, right? So on the one hand, you have keep it free for the people. So what does that mean? You can tell me a couple of ideas. Why should we keep it free? Gilles was saying because we have a mission, right? And we had public money and we have a mission. Do you have any other ideas? What would you keep it free? Give me a couple of ideas. I know you have no microphones. I will repeat it for the ones online. Anyone? Yeah, exactly. Okay, so okay, I'm going to do it because we. New audiences, yes. You can reach new audiences. You can extend the audiences because it's free, right? I mean, this is what Gilles wanted to do also. Start with 500 and they're like, hey, if we keep it free, people are going to come. But also, it's also really embracing the non-monetary value. The thing which is like, hey, we share something which is democratic, artistic, human, emotional, educative, social, making a cohesion, right? So we want this. But also it can be gathering valuable data. Give us your data, and it's for free. You could also do that. Educational, we saw that. Innovative narratives, that people don't know what to pay, you don't know the value, and you want this innovation. You want to share something new. But also, you might say, we keep it free and we will experiment with new funding sources, or you could also request donations and say like, whatever you can pay, right? So there is a lot of arguments that is good for keeping it all free. But there are good arguments also, and Gilles could also say, and he was actually witnessing before, well, at some point, you need to finance yourself, otherwise nothing is happening. You are jeopardizing really like the institution. So charging and ticketing, because it gives a value to what you're sharing, to the art, to the work of the artist, right? So that's important, but also communicating the value of the experience as such. And also, which is also very important for the charging, also like, how do you organize a thing so that it is charged? Do you have a platform? What sort of payment system, and etc. You have to do this, and it's all there nowadays. I mean, even if you say, like, oh, it's digital and whatever, it is all there. So you can charge. You may charge, because there is a value, even if it's not a service, and it is really what is really giving the true value of art, which is a non-monetary thing, and this is a conflict we had all the time. So, as I was saying, shifting ways to sell and buy digital art. So we saw new revenue streams than public money. I was evoking them also briefly before. Sponsoring for private companies, exhibition and touring fee. This is something that is a little bit like licensing, you know, like when you have your festival, you have your thing, but maybe you tour it to amortize this. Festival and event ticketing, of course. Merchandise is something which has been also very well developed in the last thing. And it's very interesting because it has to do with the immersivity that we are seeing. I see it also in other industries, like the film industries, where also, I mean, I saw even like it's brand new, I mean, like studios like A24, like selling merchandising directly, the producers selling directly merchandising around the films, and around their own studios, becoming themselves a brand. So that's interesting also to explore this. And yes, so, but basically what I want to say, we have this force for new constellations of actors. So let us dig a little bit more into the new kind of funding that we have and explore a couple of models. So we saw tech companies that are patrons, meaning tech companies have great skilled workers. They are the engineers, they are the coders, they know the digital part of the arts, that's for sure. Actually, they sometimes don't know the arts at all. And that's why it's a great collaboration to be with the artists who are really coming with alternative ways of thinking. Typical example, Google, for example, having really like their Google Arts, whatever, institute, I don't know what's the exact name of it, Arts and Culture, they changed the name once, but anyway, it can be Google, it can be Adobe, it can be Epson, so that's great, they're there, and etc. But of course, it is questioning the political challenge of big tech is behind this. What does that mean? Well, there is, I mean, I'm not going to say this because we are recorded, but I mean, there's a lot of data which is processed, and it may interrogate, I mean, the artist, and I don't want to work with Google. You know, I don't want to work with Epson, etc., etc. But definitely, art patrons and tech companies that are patrons is something which is on its way. We have also new kind of platforms and digital arts marketplaces, blockchain or not blockchain related with NFT or not NFT. I mean, it was a big thing in the study. We were already thinking like, do we talk about NFTs? Yes, we have to talk about NFTs. It's not new. And then it was 2022, so everything was already like, you know, like falling all together down, and we're like, NFTs, yes, we have to mention them. And we were reading, you will see it when you see the study, they were saying, yes, but in the arts, it will stay because it is learned and it will stay. So we have they say that it will stay, and then, you know, the months after the study was published, it was going further down, and we're like, oh. So if you read the study, you will know that. But anyway, so DAOs, I think everybody knows what a DAO is, a decentralized, you know this, right? I don't want to insult you, but in case people online don't know, decentralized autonomous organizations, basically a legal structure that has no central governing bodies. The members share a common goal, are really like the ones handling this for the best interest of the identity. And it has been really like popularized because of the cryptocurrency actually and blockchain technologies to have a bottom-up management decision system, which is nice. Idealistically, it's very nice. So let me give you maybe just one or two ideas of these platforms and DAOs. Just, of course, we have Artisan, which is also based on NFT. It's interesting because their business model is like you have different institutions, also tech companies, which are financing them. We have also, next slide, please, the Fair Art Fair. Actually, it's interesting because this is also something, when you read the studies, we have so many examples and they don't exist anymore. Then some of them just disappeared, you know. So when I was doing the presentation, I was like, are they still existing, like checking it? They still exist, they change a little bit, so there is a new video coming up. It's great, it's the founder also talking about it, it's really nice. We have La Collection, which is interesting because it's a very unique way to collect digital version of physical artworks, right? So it's okay. It's more for big masterpieces and of leading galleries, museums, and etc. But I think the idea behind this is also very interesting because you can buy NFTs at the exhibition's physical on-site store. We have this also in Berlin with the LAS, or sometimes the exhibition they organize where you can also you get an NFT or something. So it's hybridizing the platform. We also have art stacks, for example. Oh, okay. Yes, do I have this? Yes. No, this is, sorry. Yeah, another, sorry, right. I want to go back. Yes. Field.io based in, I think, Berlin and London also they are. We have been also interviewing them. Very nice studio. It's very interesting because they said to us last year that they wanted to launch a collaborative platform for artists. We could not find it. It's still a studio. But you can see their great work, great artistical work, and etc. They work with brands, actually, because of the economic sustainability. So I think it might be the reason, and I say this, I didn't interview them further, but if I would today, I would ask them, like, why isn't it online? And I'm going to give you examples also of things which were said to be like this and are still not like that. But we're going to go there in a second. Yes, so that's more an agency. So ArtStack, of course, the typical example. So ArtStack, artist-led system of production, which is really trying to operate at scale. So it's all about scaling. Actually, it seems like, oh, artists are coming together and they're going to do something and they're going to pack a huge stuff and it's going to be out and it will be ticketed and it will be expensive and it will be rentable. So it is like a sort of integrated studio, if you like, where you have a do-it-yourself aspect in technology. And the monetization of these art products is done by creating really like mass market thing, huge stuff. Big example, Drift at the Shed in New York in 2021. And I think we have also a couple of, was it like, too many names in my head. It will come back later. Anyway, but you see what I mean, like huge stuff, big thing, expensive entrance, bang, and then you put it in a really massive venue. Another thing that we found, streaming offline content. That's also a very interesting part. Thinking of, do we have a Das Verse immediately after? I think, yes, Das Verse. First, world's first LG OLED TV premium art metaverse. So all the things are in there. It's interesting because it is really like, yeah, I mean, it's over-the-top streaming service. Like they have also this daily, if we can have the Daily Art Story, which is an art streaming service. They are in Korea. And they wanted also to extend their services by discovering also new artists, because for now it's still like masterpieces from the Louvre and etc. It's like art TV and you have all the masterpieces. They wanted to do something for emerging artists, and they wanted also to have an artist award ceremony, but I could not find anything this year about that. So there are some traces of this in September 2023. I actualized this, but I don't have the following. So we have to check it out. Other things we were mentioning before, licensing. So this is the model that KIKK would like to also go on, maybe with more internationalization. We mentioned MUTEC, so we can actually like move on. MUTEC, Montreal, Barcelona, Buenos Aires, Dubai, Mexico, Santiago, Tokyo. Hello, I mean, like they're everywhere. That's great. But also talking about licensing, we have also other models like Sugar Glider Digital, for example. Basically, they are a commissioning rental model for video artwork, which is using a subscription scheme with blockchain also, and then you can rent a digital artwork for a special screen, and it can be for one night or it can be for several months. They also curate a digital event around the year, maybe like the Chinese New Year or something like this, so you know, like a specific event. So that's interesting. So that's just a short exploration of what we found into like new ideas and etc. But I think the most important thing before we move now to the panel is really to tell you like all of these ideas And I remember we were all together in X last year, the partners meeting, and our project officer, Adriana, was also with us. And I remember there was this moment where we were finishing the study, basically the beginning of 2023, and digging into the interviews and extra. We were like, we felt this. We felt the new work, the new model, the new platforms, and everything. How we want to do this too. We want to explore this too. And this is also some kind of stuff which has been also influencing us in exploring maybe a new collaborative platform and etc. So I wanted to share this because it is something which has accompanied us, and you will find it again when we are going to discuss about the prototype, and we're going to do this right now because we are insanely late. I completely went over time. I'm sorry for that. But I mean, normally, I'm really known to be like, we finish on this minute, but I hope you enjoyed this little ride through these new business models. And let's go straight to the next point of our presentation, the panel. And we will have now approximately a quarter of an hour exploring what we did. So I want to introduce our project coordinator in the consortium, Ilaria Bondavalli. She's a European project manager. She's working at Chroniques, at our partners in France, in Marseille and Aix. And yes, she's in charge of everything, to be honest, and it's really great. And she's really like working at the intersection also of art, technology, human connection. I know we are not your only project, yeah? You're cheating on us. You have another European project, no? Oh my God! Okay, that's polyamory. This is incredible. Okay, good. So that's it. Yeah, that's great. And then we have also Delphine Génard, the CCI ecosystem facilitator at the KIKK. And I'm going to sit down so that I'm like on the same level here. To facilitate the digital creativity ecosystem at the KIKK. And she's a communication strategist, really, so specializing in public affairs, cultural policy. So I think we have a great constellation here around this, let's say, table, so to speak, right? So, how was this envisioned, Ilaria? Please remind us and tell our audience, like, how did we want to approach this new prototype to start with?
Okay, so to put that into context, we are all here in the framework of Digital Intersection, which is a EU co-funded project, which was written in a couple of times and approved in 2021. So when it was approved, actually the idea was that we were to explore and launch new commercial offers to try and to try and experiment collaboration between art institution and private companies. And really at the beginning, the idea was that each of the 4 artistic partners launched their own pilot project in their own territory. Then the research came, the business coaching started, and we actually realized that it was much smarter to join forces and actually try to have one common pilot project among the consortium. Why? Well, first, the ecosystem really wanted to work. That's what actually AC and Anna have been explaining, and it's behind me. So the art sector wanted to cooperate, so why shouldn't we? And the next thing is that cooperation is key for basically anything you actually want it to work, because all the partners are very heterogeneous, complementary. Each of us came with their own specificity, so it really became a much richer and comprehensive project. And actually, the fact of cooperate really echoed the clustering trend that has been observed. Also, you talked about it. Maybe Anna, someone talked about this before. When you want to innovate, you cannot stay in your own lane. You have to have different expertise and everything. So yeah, basically that's it. So where are we? So what are the benefits that we have observed until now? To be all together, it's resource effective in terms of HR, in terms of time, in terms of money. It's really better to cooperate instead of doing the work 4 times. Then there's a quote that I really like that was also in my master thesis. In today's uncertain world, it is better not to go alone, because we are facing a lot of challenges, and it's really easier if you have a team behind you helping you out, basically, which is also one of the reasons why EU co-funded projects are a great R&D tool. Spot to our project officers in the platea.
Yeah, but it's true. I mean, the
yeah.
feeling that we have, I mean, we really grew as a team all together. I mean, we can say that.
Yeah. Again, the partners profile, we all have different expertise, and one of us is expert in tech, the other one has a huge network, and it's actually very complicated to master everything in today's world because everything is evolving very, very rapidly, and it's not a big deal if you have project buddies. And I would like to conclude on the fact that cooperation is a long-term commitment, but it is necessary if you want to build a solid digital art industry. So yeah, that's the point.
That's great, because I'm going to tell you what we did. What we did as a group. Well, first of all, we had the one-on-one analysis. So I went to every organization and I digged into the money. Where is the money? Where does it come from? Where is it going? And how do you want to survive with this? Was basically the first coaching, and to understand also the ecosystem in the different countries, to understand where we did some really very classical SWOTs. I think it's a very interesting instrument actually to put it to the point and to say like, so how are you going to deal with this? And then we had a partner meeting to put everybody together to make something like a meta SWOT and to transcend the challenges and the threats for everybody and to see like what is in common. And it is actually the mini prototype, the what to call it, the core of the tool that we were going to that we will deliver at the end of the project, so that everybody can recognize themselves in some kind of scenario. Then we started the coaching sessions. The coaching sessions, the group coaching sessions. So, yeah, sorry, I have to laugh because it is a lot of work. So we meet every month for a long session where we discuss one clear theme, which is on the coaching path, so that we reach the goal at the end. And we have a lot of group work, which is also in between. And the group work have different themes like curation, to develop a new catalog or to make the best possible catalog out of what we've got, sales and communications, financial stuff, structure stuff, sustainability is a huge group work. I mean, Melissa from my team is on it. Yeah, and then there is the homework, and and there is also then the group exchange when we are in partner meetings. So it's believe me, it's not holiday. We have full workshop days where we are packed with stuff. We try to do arts at the end, or well, let's see something, but we hardly manage. So it's great. So, but just to mention what Eli was saying at the end, we were thinking like, yes, we are together. We're going to do this together, and etc. We're gonna kill it. Sorry to use combative language, but we're gonna find the kill thing. We're gonna do it. But then, indeed, we're gonna talk about the key trends of the future. Then the real work starts. When you are really like all together and you want to make something happen, the real work starts, and we're gonna explore this together. So, Delphine, what were actually these key trends for the future that we have been seeing where we decided to go for a common project? Like, can we dig a little bit into this?
Yes, but first of all, so hello to everyone. First of all, this special exercise we do together this morning resonates further for KIKK since we are, since January, sorry, can you hear me? Yes. Since we assume a new role, a new mission as a CCI ecosystem facilitator. So that's really cool for us to be able to spread, to share the results of the report and all we do together with DIS. That's so relevant to us to share it, not just to keep it for just the consortium, but to share it for the regional ecosystem. Mm-hmm. So yes, you've been speaking a lot about trends. I'm not gonna speak and tell more about trends, but maybe two key ideas. The first is, of course, cooperation, and I maybe wanted to opt in the word co-petition. So not to be in a competition, of course, but to be together in a co-petition together to train ourselves, to improve ourselves, to get better. Because yes, we have to struggle, we have to fight. We're not in a teddy bear world. It's difficult, yes. So first word, so co-petition, bringing our resources together, and yes, be stronger together. And the second main idea is trying to find a way to digitize, in a way it might be paradoxal, digitize our digital arts industry, because what we see, and it stands for, I don't know, business intelligence or culture of data. We as professionals are dealing with digital artists. That's our core business. But in the way we manage digital artists, digital arts events, we are quite not illiterate, but you know what I mean. We need to go further to take the best of what we tools like CRMs, for instance, to get to learn more and understand more about our audience. How do we target them in a more effective way? How do we sell tickets, and how do we keep tracks of our audience and maintain the link, and also entretenir and
care for
the relationship on a long term. So definitely, you mentioned AI. Definitely, we lack, to what I think, culture of data that would empower us to do so. So also to kickstart crowdfunding, microfunding campaigns, this kind of stuff. We definitely need to know better our communities, because we are stronger together. We merge our community, we connect our communities, so we are, yes, definitely stronger together, but we lack this knowledge, or you know, to have the yes, such as other in the industry take the best of data, you know, business analyzers. We lack that, definitely. So that's one of the key trends I wanted to stress.
No, it's a very good one, because indeed also the integration of AI tools to make the most of the data you have is also a challenge in terms also of how to say, integrity and responsibility. How do you deal with the audiences? And it leads me to the next question about the sustainability and also the social sustainability. It was a very specific, and it is still a very specific aspect of the project we have together. So how do we integrate not only the economic sustainability, but also other sustainability angles like ecological and social? Who would like to take this one? Yeah? Okay, Ilaria.
So for us, sustainability is really a big deal. We are really not greenwashing. Actually, we are very scared about greenwashing. And it's a pillar of the project, I would say. And as we have been saying today, it's really not only about the environment for us, but also about the HR that behind the artists. Are we paying them fairly? Is the team overworked? We are really trying to build a holistic approach. So to do that, we have a sustainability work group in the team. We also meet once a month, let's say, and we have homework, a lot of homework, in between the sessions. And since the report, I'd say, it has become real, because we have first published some guidelines which were the theoretical basis then for the steps that followed. And the key word in everything we have been doing is questions, because we are very far from having any perfect solution. There's no one-fit-all solution, because especially in the digital art sector, each of the pieces is unique. Well, actually, in every kind of art, each piece is unique. So you cannot have one-fit-all sustainability approach for everything. So we are actually trying to ask the right questions and trying to put into question everything we've been doing, our processes. So the guidelines are issued, a list of questions or a list of processes that may be improved, and they are really issued from the interview and the survey that has been led. And it goes on to the pledge, which is actually our manifesto, let's say, which is divided in categories. Again, HR, artists, logistics, communication, everything is considered. And it's again a list of things that could be done better. And it takes the whole value chain from the conception of the artwork until the clients, because we also try to, the customers, we also try to promote sustainable third parties that the customers can work with. And then one last thing that I would say is that we are of course not alone, so we're trying to cooperate with other communities, and we're actually trying to build a cooperation system with Reimagine Europe, which is another EU-funded project.
I heard that, yes.
Because the question we ask ourselves, we are not alone doing that, so join forces again, cooperation models.
Exactly. We don't invent stuff which is already existing, so it was great also to have this bridge to them. That's good. Okay, so maybe we can also move on to where we are at now, right? I would like to see like what did we, because the whole thing to do something collaborative was like, what do we have in common? What is the core of all our institutions, right? So what did we find out? Who would like to take it on?
I can go
Yeah? Oh yeah, go on. You go.
ahead.
So it became real. We've been doing the business coaching for more than a year now. So we really have the potential and the limits of what we have envisioned. The potential, I would say, are mainly two: the curation power and the sustainability pillar. So curation. In the consortium, we represent, I would say, 4 of the best art festivals in Europe. And our
sorry for those who are here today.
One off. 4 off.
Yeah.
There's
I know,
many more. But our curators are really our force. They have more than 20 years experience in the field. They have huge networks, a huge artist portfolio. So that's really one of our flex. And the sustainability, again, I'd spoken about that. So we're really trying to make it a big deal for everyone. The limit maybe that we wanted to do it all together. It's like when you go on holiday and you always want to be all together all the time. At some point, there's someone who doesn't want to do that.
Something else.
Exactly. That's a limit. So it's a question of adaptability. So we may need to find another option. So maybe to adapt our strategy, our common strategy locally. There's a lot of challenges and questions and next steps.
Yeah.
There's a lot to discover still.
Exactly. Maybe if I may say, because I am the one leading the coaching process to explore these things. We are arriving now at a critical point. We have been pushing it really hard on the common stuff and etc. The market analysis, the benchmark, the financial planning, we did it all together to build something all together. But we have been hitting some challenges that we did not plan. We didn't plan it. But suddenly we were thinking like, hold on, we don't have the time to do what we already have to do, and then we have to build a new stuff. Hold on, that was not the deal. Because in terms of work, that's crazy. So it was suddenly like, hey, do we need a new team to do the work that we plan to do, and how far do we do this, and etc. Also, suddenly, there was the question of monetization, because it's all about the new business model. And monetization was like, yeah, well, we need sales competencies. Somebody going and sell the thing, but who is going to do it? So, and then there were like tech challenges also, like, wait, which platform? How do we deal this with the etc. So suddenly we had a lot of the things. So this is what exactly Ilaria was saying. We want to maybe revisit and see like, how can we really do something and consider we had 3 options to build something collaborative. So we are maybe making a mix of these options together. We cannot really tell you now because we're in the middle of the process, but we are sharing.
We don't know.
We don't know. we cannot tell you what's going to happen at the end, but that's the great thing about the project, that we may explore and experiment. We may hit the wall sometime, like, oh, this doesn't work. Let's go back. Let's go there. And it's a great journey, I would say. And it is innovation as such to be able to do it.
And the good thing is that we're going further.
Yes.
We're not stopping, yeah.
Exactly. So I think I would would you like to add something, Delphine? Because I think I would jump over the last question, unless you want to say something. Yes, thank you very much.
I'm
We're
okay.
gonna
I think the most essential things have been said, and also with Gilles' testimony. So definitely, we are thrilled to be part of the adventure, and we are looking forward to see, and not to see, just to construct how we're going to envision the things for DIS, our consortium, and future agency. So yes. Let's go. Let's do it.
Yeah, it's great right now because now is the reflection thing. We have been exploring all the options, and the partners have to think about it. And then in 2 weeks, there is homework how to think about it. And I think in 2 weeks for our next meeting, we're going to debrief this and say, okay, so who wants what? We even had a little questionnaire so that they can really very democratize, that everybody can say from each organization what they think is the best, and then we're gonna see. And I'm very, very curious to see what's going to happen, because I'm also thinking like I'm supposed to lead this to bring them further. And no, I'm following. You know, so it's a great balance thing. So thank you. And before we close, I want to give the word to our project officer who is here today. It's Adriana Godoano-Metz at the European Commission. So can we give a microphone to Adriana? Thank you to be there today with us.
Thank you. I'm a little bit terrified to sit. I don't like normally to sit too much, but okay, I'm going to do it.
Yes.
I already prefer to speak standing.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Well, I'm very glad I'm here. How can I say? I don't want to take out your glory, because it's your project, it's your presentation, is everything that you have done, but I'm also very pleased I'm here, and I'm very proud of your project, I may say, although it didn't end yet, so it's still a long time. I don't want to enter in details, I don't want to enter in recommendation, because this is between you and me, and anyhow we are going to have our meetings, but I want just to share some reflection, my personal reflection regarding this project. And it was like when we, I mean, I have two types of projects normally. Silent projects and projects that are disturbing me all the time with questions. And, of course, definitely they are part of it. And what I'm saying that because at the beginning I was thinking, well, I prefer the silence project, but no, definitely I prefer these kinds of projects that are just interacting and they are challenging, because we people from the Commission, from the agencies, we are also human. Yeah, we are also coming from the private industry, from other fields, and we understand. We are just a little bit, how can I say, prolonged in the reality, because these projects are a reality and they are expressing reality using, of course, our money, the public money, and the whole knowledge. We also promote the European values, which is very, very important. And yes, if Gilles would like to go to Mexico, to South America, to North America, it's very good, but always keeping in mind to promote our values. This is the most important, to keep and raise the flag. Also, coming back to our first encounter, I was wondering actually, and that's why I wanted to come here today. I wanted to see how the project really evolved. I mean, to touch it, yeah, because we have our calls all the time, we have our meetings, we see each other, but just wanting a little bit, because as you say, AC, we don't know where we are going to end up, yeah. And I remember that we discussed different models in Aix-en-Provence, and I was thrilled because, guys, I mean, I've seen all types of models possible. The very simple models coming from a certain country. I'm not going to give you an example. I'm going to give only one example, the final one, the most complicated, the most complex one, the most realistic, which was the Belgium one, the KIKK project example. And now I see that really you got the results. So you made the metamorphosis, you compiled all these models, and you found out the real path, the real line. I'm really very keen to see at the end that it will produce really, because we all need this tool. We all need this help. We all need this analysis. And it will be very nice that you will be able in the future to share it with the maximum audience you will have or you can get. I also salute the, it does exist this word, workaholism?
Work holistic or work
workaholic.
workaholic, yeah.
I want to transform it into a noun. I don't know how to say it. But yes, they are workaholic. They are really working all the time. I've seen that. I noticed that. But it's nice because when you love it, this is the most important.
Yeah.
Working for pleasure and for the benefit of yourself and of the others. So yeah, I don't know what I can say more than that.
No, it's great. Thank you so much. And I want to just add one remark to what you were saying to promote the EU. For us, it's not only putting the logo when we are doing whatever exploratory trip to Cape Town or to wherever we go. Mexico, I don't know if Mexico is on the plan. I don't think so. But it is also in the work we put in common, the catalogue. We were really like putting together like how do we define the European touch in the project, and we decided to really like go. The product is a message, so to speak. The product is European, with still being inclusive. So we decided we are gonna take, of course, like artists from Europe or trained in Europe, or also working in Europe, you know, but always having this European touch is super important also within the substance as such. So I think it is one first reflection, so to speak, to what you've been saying. And what you were saying also for the tool. It's interesting because we will have a prototype as such, if you like, and we will have also a mini tool for everybody to be able to work with it. So yes, I'm curious also to see how it will look like. Thank you very much to go through with us. To them.